Think about this. Bishop f6 is the only move that works. Knight f3 just queens. I mean, I'm sure this is the move, but now there's some trick here. And now that's where I have to think. Again, it feels like there's some trick, like knight f3, queen knight e5, but then he checks on g1. They go knight h3, queens 2. Wait a second. There's a trick. There's a trick. There's a trick. You go here and here. There's a trick. And oh, but now, yeah, you take check and fork. Yeah. So the reason this is winning, let me do the analysis. The reason this is winning is because when you go here, here, and queen, after knight c1, you're threatening to go bishop g5 checkmate. This is just checkmate. The knight holds the pawn, king holds the critical squares. So you're threatening to make a checkmate in one. So the reason that this is winning is because queen takes knight, you go check, and you collect the queen on diagonal. So you're threatening to go checkmate in one. So the only way black can stop mate is he can capture the knight, which loses to bishop g5, as I just mentioned. The only other ways you can stop mate are to go king here. So now if I check, you run away. But on king d2, I go check, and I fork the king and the queen. And so if you take, we've established you lose this way. If you go this way, I fork the king and the queen. So both of these moves do not work in terms of stopping the checkmate. So now the only other two ways to stop the checkmate are you can play queen a5, after which bishop takes d4 wins the game. So either way you go, I fork the king and the queen again on b3. And so h6 is the only other move that you can play, but after h6, I very quietly go bishop to e5 and I threaten the same checkmate, and it's the same thing. If you take the knight again, I go check and I collect the queen. If you move the king, I go here and I fork the king and the queen. If you go here, now it's actually just checkmate because the king holds the bishop and the king has no squares anywhere. So that's why it's just winning by force. Knight f3 does not work, you guys, because after knight f3, I make a queen. And sure, you can take on d4 and this will be a draw, but there's no checkmating pattern. So there's no checkmate, so I'm just going to take your pawn if you don't just force a draw with bishop takes d4. That's the difference in the position, is that it's actually winning. Why can't the king take the knight? Oh yeah, you can take the knight, but then I just take the pawn and my bishop stops your queen. So that's the thing. That's kind of the point. It's a study in domination, and it's just one of these ones where you use the bishop and the knight and the queen. It looks so random, but because of the pawn placement, there are no squares for the queen to go, and it's just you just lose the game here.